I'm wondering too, for the exhibits nowadays, are there any particular emphasis that you guys put on the theme? That's like, for instance, relating to COVID.
Uh, mm, I know that some other institutions are doing group exhibitions or other kind of presentations based on the topic of the coronavirus, but Lama Space just hasn't done that. Yeah.
It's really nice to hear that your, like, I think, daily activities and of the gallery is slowly returning to normalcy in a way. But I wonder, what
Yeah.
are some things from this period that you guys learned that you think will carry forward even afterwards?
Mm, um,
And I guess if I like rephrase that, it's like, do you think that there's innovations and adaptations that you guys had to make during this period of COVID that you'll carry forward even after?
I think this year, because everything is getting slower and slower,
Mm.
so at least for a salesperson, for example, me myself, what is more important for me is to really have deeper conversation with my clients, with new buyers, and get to know why they're still spending money this year, and why they stopped spending money this year, and trying to be more like generous in a way about our own information, about what we have learned, about what we're going to do in the near future, uh, and to do more sharing, I think. So this year, because everything is getting quite tender, especially when we're still emailing our international audience and those international clients, sometimes uh, your nice greeting could be offensive.
Mm.
So I think all the conversation is based on a certain kind of mutual understanding. So before initiating any kind of sales conversation, we need to be very cautious and do some preparations to in advance. We need to know what your target audience is doing now, and um, yeah, we have to show our gesture, but still be in a polite way, I think. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. And just a final question. I'm curious about if you've seen some collaborations between art and digital formats, and so, for instance, technology. Like, if you've seen any good projects like that in recent times.
Yeah, I prepared two very young female artists' work.
Oh, great.
So let me give you the link.
Mhm.
Um,
And so, would you like to talk about these a little bit, or would you like to do a
yeah.
screen share while you
Yes,
talk? Mhm.
yes, I just gave you the link of one female artist. Actually, we were college mates together. So her name is called Fei Yingning, and she was just on show at UCCA Dune
Mhm.
in Araya, and also about to be on show at UCCA Beijing this Friday. So there is a new huge international group show about computer art. And so Fei Ning, her new video works, one is called Breakfast Ritual. So she got inspiration from Abramovic Breakfast Ritual, I think. And in this video, he creates a very cute female avatar, and who is sitting on the table and having her breakfast, and she is saying that art must be artificial. I think this is the really key concept of what many artists or many other kind of practitioners are thinking about this year. And the other artist is Liu Wa. So she is the daughter of Yu Hong and Liu Xiaodong, and she is also still in the States. And her new video work is about her understanding and her own feeling about the outbreak, actually. Yeah.
Interesting. And I'm just in the first artist, and I see one that's really fascinating. It's a work called Broken Hearted Chair Number One. 好像是叫伤心椅子1号。
Oh, 我看到了. Yeah, I see that. That one is also on show in 798 now in the previous Bowesley Gallery, which is now called Spurs. Yeah.
It's very visceral.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's formed by the paper mesh, but on its surface, it's like painted by acrylic and watercolor. Yeah.
With the texture of it, it feels like it's like peeling back, and it feels like it's tender, but at the same time, a little bit like gruesome. Yeah, it's fascinating.
And actually, the pearls is it's the tears.
Oh, I see. Oh, wow. And that's just, I think it's interesting because when you look at it, it looks kind of lovely, like it's pastel tones. But then the closer that you look into the details, the more gruesome it gets. And I know that Liu Wa, she's done a lot of video works too. I think her older ones, she used a headset to detect people's attention spans when they're looking at her paintings. And then I know more recently she did Milk Moon, so like experience while having, is it a brain surgery or a different type of surgery? And I'm curious too, like if, this medium, there'll be more room for this medium to be exhibited in galleries with rise of like online viewing rooms, or if there's things that galleries have done to accommodate this medium being exhibited.
I think except for physical presentation of these video works, of course, we can do online viewing rooms. So it's more like a private screening by invitation only, that you can access the website and then you can see the entire video work. Otherwise, we're still relying on those real like exhibition opportunities. Yeah.
And what do you think is like the work showing of new media artists in the future going to be like? Like, do you think there's going to be more opportunities, or are there like some challenges that you see just from like present situation?
Yeah, so the most challenging part for video works is that how the market is going to manage its form. So previously, as I mentioned, so now we are selling those video works, those moving images by editions. And you have one copy of several copies, and you will have a valid certificate to show that you have the right to screen it or something. But if we think the problem in a more open way, maybe we're going to do the thing called open source. So when we're we can really open source a film, so all the audience from each corner of the world can really see the work, and such an influence uh, cannot be imagined, I think. Yeah.
I would think about, like, for instance, collecting art is has always been about, like, having the painting or the sculpture or whatever medium it is exclusively. And there's that aspect of having that exclusively, that in video form or other digital media, that I would think, like, what is, I guess, the client's mindset, and why that they want to acquire such a work that kind of goes in a sense that's very different from traditional incentives of collecting art.
I haven't asked this question.
It's just a
uh,
general curiosity. I'm just thinking too, because I think it's like, obviously there's going to be more of this type. But I wonder too, for like the older generation that have always collected paintings, because those are things that, is sold most at auction and most traditional. And then now, what do they think about this type of new medium that, there's like,
yeah,
yeah.
actually, some very pioneering collectors who are from the 60s and 70s, who already had a huge collection of Chinese video works. So the most famous one could be Wang Bing, who is in Beijing, and he has this foundation called New Century Foundation, and has a huge collection of video works such as Wang Jiawei's earlier work in the 90s, and also Hu Xiangqian's recent work, like from like the past 5 to 10 years. Yeah, and I think such a gesture is really to promote such a medium among Chinese artists. And some new young emerging collectors, they have the similar mission or vision or the ambition to really lead a trend that what young people are doing now are like related to such a medium. Yeah, because it's really more.
It will be really interesting to see in the coming time. And thanks so much for joining us today and sharing your
It's
knowledge
my pleasure.
and
Thank you
keeping
so
you
much.
up into the evening on your week off.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thanks so much.
Okay. Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye. That was really interesting. Thank you. That's it for this episode of Beyond Codes and Aesthetics. If you like what you heard, you can subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever else you listen to your podcasts. Also, please take a moment to rate and review this podcast. It will help other listeners discover what we're doing. Beyond Codes and Aesthetics is produced by Kohei and translations on Himalaya Podcasts by Will Jiang. Take care and see you next time.